Shabbat Shalom. All right, well, it's been a few weeks, but we have been before our service gets rolling, going over some Hebrew lessons. We have learned, or at least become acquainted with, the Hebrew of the Baruch, which is our opening liturgy. Another very important and regular piece of liturgy that we engage in here at the Olive Tree is the Shema. And so we are now going to start looking at the Shema and becoming familiar with it. Again, I'm not saying that I'm going to make you a advanced Hebrew scholar at the end of these lessons, but hopefully we'll get a flavor, a taste, an understanding as we can see these words on the board, on the screen, see them in text, and also just begin to sound them out, appreciate them, and go a little bit deeper. The Shema is the cornerstone of all Jewish prayer. Jewish people around the world recite the Shema, many of them, morning and evening every day. There's many testimonies even that I've heard coming out of these past few months in Israel, people who have survived the attacks in Israel on the 7th of October who said all they could do was pray the Shema. It's sort of what Jewish people know deep down in those moments of crisis becomes their go-to prayer. I would love that if that was our go-to prayer as well, but not just as a matter of rote, but like really understanding what it is we're calling upon when we recite the Shema. You may remember if you were here during Simchat Torah, as we unrolled the Torah scroll and we pointed out different unique features of the Torah, that this section of the Torah, do y'all recognize that? This is the Shema. In fact, this line at the top of this block is the Shema, and then the rest of this paragraph is the Ve'ahavta. That's Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 through 9. And again, this is what you might find written and rolled up in a little scroll inside the mezuzah on the doorposts of so many homes, and even here at the Olive Tree. You'll notice when you see the line across the top that two letters stand out. The last letter of each, the first and the last word of the line, are big and bold. One is an ayin, we'll learn these letters, and one is a dalet. It's funny because it sets that phrase apart. As you look at the Torah scroll, it jumps out at you. And of course, we've learned that the ayin and the dalet together form the word ed, which means a witness, because Israel is God's witness. We are supposed to witness to God, but also just our existence as Israel is God's witness to the world of His faithfulness. All right, so you don't have to necessarily be able to read this right now, but maybe pretty soon we'll be able to do that. But let's start with Shema. Shema is based on the word Shama, which is what you see up here, which means to listen or to hear. By implication, it means to understand, and ultimately it means to obey. Because in Hebrew, to listen isn't just to have a word come in your ear, it's to have a word change you, right? You respond to what you hear. And so often when you hear the word Shema, or you find it in the Torah or the Scriptures, you also see it linked to the word Bekol. You hear the voice, which means you obey. All right, so when we are saying Shema, this is the word that we're saying. Listen, hear, take to heart, obey. And so when we see the word Shema, instead of Shama, we have Shema. It's pretty close, but this is the imperative. Second person, that means you, masculine, singular. Hey, you, listen. Listen up. Hear what is about to be spoken. So, as we look at that word, let's start to break it down just a little bit, letter by letter. We first have the sheen, and these are some letters we've gone over in previous lessons, but the sheen has the Hebrew sound, sh, as in shush, all right? And so you see the sheen, you see that sort of three-branched letter, and with the dot on the right side of the sheen, it sounds like sh. If you see the dot on the opposite side, it's a s sound, okay? Like in Yisrael, Israel. But in this case, it's sh, as in sheen. The next letter in Shema is the mem. Has an M sound, as in many. All right? So can you look up there and say, that's the mem, Shema. Last letter in the Shema is what we mentioned before, the ayin. An ayin is a silent letter. In fact, in Israel, and especially in other Semitic cultures that this letter has almost a guttural sound. It's like it's not quite a silence. It's almost kind of hits you in the back of the throat. In fact, the name we've been seeing in the news over and over, Gaza, in Hebrew is spelled with the ayin at the beginning. Aza in Israel, they say. Or if you're Arabic, you might say Gaza. You might kind of get it down in your throat. But that's the ayin, Shema. There's a couple of vowels that we see. The little circle is just to show you where a letter would be, but under the letter is the shava, which is the silent sound, and you just might hear sh, right? The sound that comes after the sheen, just a little stop of a sound. And then after the ma is the sound, patach, that has as in father. So we're going to put those all together. All right, I know it's quick, but before we do, let's just see if you can read this for me really quick. All right, no, that's a lot in one gulp. But this is what we are going to learn, which is our Shema liturgy. The first line, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, right out of Deuteronomy. The second line, not from the text, from the scripture, but added as a way of response. It's a blessing. Baruch Shem Kavod. Blessed is his glorious name. Malchuto, his kingdom, Leolam Va'ed, is forever and ever. But let's see if we can just practice with the first word. Together, Shema, Shema.